Hello, students. Continue now. This is slide number 2. Now we continue. We have learned earlier that in the classroom the kids were discussing about the Venus, and then they were fed up with the rain, always raining and raining. And then we discussed about the rain sound, and the poet has very nicely explained about the rain, how heavily the rain was in the planet Venus. And we also talk about the kids, where the the rocket man and rocket woman's children, and they were settled in the planet Venus. There is the Venus civilization. And we also talk about a lot of other things, like the water and the tidal. There is the tidal waves comes over to the island, and then so many things we discussed. Now we are going to discuss about further what happens um, to the story. We'll go further, and we are excited to learn more. "I did," said Margot. "I did," William said the teacher. "But that was yesterday." Now the rain was slackening, and the children were crushed in the great thick windows. So the teacher named William said was talking with Margot, and then Margot said, "I did." So the teacher said, "I did," said the teacher, "but that was yesterday." Now the rain was slackening, and the children were crushed in the great thick room. So that was yesterday's discussion. Now today, the other day, the rain was slackening. That means going to be stop or slow down. The rain was slowing down, and then the children were crushed in the great thick window. That means they were pushed against, or children were pressed much, like they were standing together, and then crushed in a great thick window. They were like they were pressed against each other. "Where is teacher? She'll be back. She would be better hurry. We will miss it." They turned on themselves like a feverish will, and tumbling spokes. Margot stood alone. Now the poet is explaining the situation in another way. Here, the feverish will, that means children were looked agitated, emotional. And then also he explained about all tumbling spokes. Here he explained about the tumbling spokes. He is saying that in a wheel or in the wagon there is a spoke, or in the bicycle we have spokes there. So those spokes were uncontrolled, as if the children were on uncontrolled, or become very wild at the time. So they were not in control. Um, when the rain is going to the slow down at the time, so they feels like excited, and then or they went wild, and then they went to um, close to the window to watch outside what's going to happen the next. So what happened after that is Margot stood alone. She was very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes, and the red from her mouth, and the yellow from the hair. So here the poet is explaining Margot stood as if looked like alone, and lost her mind after the years of rain, but her blue eyes and the red mouth and yellow from her hair, that means she is discolored, in a way, he wants to explain that she has lost everything when he went to Venus about the Earth, or she has some remember, but also she looks totally different in that situation, and she was like old photograph dusted from an album or whitened away or lost the picture's quality. For example, when we put the picture in the photograph and then we put the frame on it, then after some years when we take it out from the frame, the picture quality will be gone or it will become white. So she looked like that. She has turned into like a white that she doesn't remember anything. She stood and watched outside in the huge glass. That means she was watching outside in the huge glass at that time. What are you looking at? Said William, the teacher. And Margaret said nothing. Speak when you are spoken to. He gave her a sob. That means he pushed her, and but she did not move. Rather, she let herself be moved only by him and nothing else. So he was moving her. She moved her body, but she didn't reply anything. The edge away from her, so they were away a little bit from her where she's standing, and they would not look at her. She felt them go away. So the other children pretended that they are away from her, and this was because she would play no games with them in echoing tunnels of the underground city. So now it's like a echoing tunnel, underground city. There's like no play games, no any sound, no echo sound goes or no anybody disturbs her if they tag her and ran. So she stood blinking after them and did not follow. She was just looking at them. She was blinking her eyes, but she did not follow where they go in the class, all the children. When class sang songs about happiness and life and games, her lips barely moved. So she does not even like to sing or participate in the classroom because she was very upset about the rain, and she missed the earth, the weather, and the cozy warm, the sun weather only. And she was only moving her lips, barely moved, and then only and gams her lips barely moved. So she was just giving the lips to move little bit only. Um, Only when they sang about the sun and the summer did her lips move as the was the drenched window. Now when they sing about the sun, and then at the time she just watched at the drenched window. That means the drench is completely shook from the rainwater. So and then only when they sang about at the time she stood over there, and then of course the biggest crime of all of that was she had come here only 5 years ago from the earth. So she was newly arrived. The other kids were for a long time they were there, but she was there only for 5 years ago. So and she remembered the sun and the way the sun was and the sky was when she was 4 years old in Ohio, the United States, the United States state name Ohio. She was 4 years old when she was brought up until 4 years old on the earth. So and they had been on Venus all their life. So they means here refer to the children. They were been all their lives, and they had been only 2 years old when last sun come out, and had long since forgotten the color and heat of it, and the way it really was. But Margot remembers. So other kids, they were small, they don't remember about the sun. They were only 2 years old at the time, so they were making fun to Margot about the sun. But Margot was bigger than them, older than them, so that's why she remember. So it's like a penny, she said once, eyes closed. No, it is not, the children cried. It's like a fire, she said. Stove. You were laying. You don't remember. I cried the child. I and then cried the children. But she remembered and stood quietly apart from all of them and watched the pattering window. So here, it's like a penny. Margot said, eyes closed. But other children in the room said, no, it's not. The other children said. So they're talking about the sun, how the sun looks like, what is the shape or size or kind of look like. So they were talking about the sun. So children said, no, it is not. It doesn't look like penny. The other children said, it's like a fire. And she said, no, it's like a stove, they said. So they were just discussing about the sun. They said, so you were laying, Margot. You don't remember anything about that, about the sun. But Margot remembered and stood quietly and looked out from the rain, um, water, where the rainwater pattering sound in the window, like a pattering on the window. She just looked out quietly or watched out quietly. So more will be in the next slide. Thank you.